Hey guys, and welcome back to Fortune Theories. Here we are again. I'm Oliver, and this is Patrick.
How you doing?
I actually paused for the silence then because I knew exactly that we were going to talk over each other. I was like, I'm sick of doing that. God, just leave the moment. It's the awkward, mediocre way of us doing stuff.
How you doing?
How you doing, guys? As you see, I'm using my laptop today. I don't think anyone cares at this point. Let's just carry on. So today's video, we're going to be talking about our top 10. I'm sorry, I'm looking up. We're going to be talking about our top 10 films of all time. So my top 10 list and Patrick's top 10 list as well. And this is personal favorites.
Yeah.
And for reasons why related to just story structure or box office related stuff. So we'll start off with the 10s. So I'll let Patrick go first. So Patrick,
okay, so here's the thing.
Last
do you
list.
yeah, we're gonna go from what we hate. Oh, this is gonna be difficult though, because so I'm okay. Also, because I can only always think about my top 3. And also the fact that I don't want this video to be like 5 minutes long because we're just going like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. All right, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. 8 minutes later. But also, it should be the film, why it's your favorite film, or why it is number 6, for instance, and then where was I going to go from there? I don't know.
Don't say something childish.
Yeah. Number 10. I don't know why I got my notes up. I was gonna have notes and write shit down, but I'm talking. So I don't know. It's difficult going from 10 because I've got to think about my 10th favorite film. No shit. Okay, surely you have a 10th favorite off the top of your head. Because I guess all with franchises. If you consider a franchise like your favorite film, I'm guessing you obviously have an individual from that franchise.
Will be individual films from that franchise.
Yeah. But I'm guessing obviously like you love Fast and Furious, for instance. So I wouldn't doubt that Fast and Furious is in your top 10.
It's going to come up a few times, I expect. Maybe once.
The franchise in general is just like your top 9. Or top 8. We don't know if it's a number yet.
No.
7.
Right.
Sorry.
Get to the point. So your top 10.
10. Fuck. Are we going to go like one by one? So your 10, my 10, your 9, my 9. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
That's how I plan to do it.
Okay, so number 9. Well, I'm going to work down from 1. I got it in my head.
You didn't even say 10 yet. What's the 10th one?
I don't know. I got to work out.
Fine. Okay, start with 9 then. Be awkward.
I'm not starting with. I'm just trying to think. Okay, because if that's my number 1, probably something along the lines of
people would have clicked off by now.
Yeah. Click-through rates are brilliant. Right. Number 10 is probably going to be Boris Johnson. It's probably going to be... That was terrible. I'm sorry. Number 10. Well, I could give you my... Okay. Oh, it's difficult, though. Can you
to be honest, say a film? You've actually helped me figure out what my number 10 is.
Yeah, because I'm
Men in Black 3.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm shocked, actually.
So 2012, funny year. We all thought we were going to die. Men in Black 3 came out, and I think acting choices were great. So obviously you got it's Will Smith, isn't it? It's the lead. Yeah, he was back. Josh Brolin, playing a younger version of Kay. That was great. Daddy Fan and Cable.
I forget. Is Men in Black 3 the one where he finally goes back in 2, doesn't he? Or is that 3?
He goes back in time to save Kay from Boris the animal.
Yeah.
It's just Boris.
It's just Boris.
One of my favourite villains of all time. Sorry, darling. Literally.
He is hilarious.
He lets his alien girlfriend go. I don't like the fact he shoots shit out of his hands. That's a bit cringy.
Yeah.
I think the reason why it's 10 is because Sorry. The reason why it's 10 is because whilst it's a funny film and quite obviously, the narrative's all there, it's like, funny film. It's not my favorite film franchise of all time. It's just sort of something I'd watch like for a laugh every now and then. And there's a few films like that on this list, but like I think that's like the one that I'd watch if I saw it on if there was nothing else on and it was on like ITV or something, then for the night I'd watch that. But it wouldn't be like, it's not a film I dwell on.
No.
So that's why it's definitely like probably the last film I dwell on. The only reason I literally thought of it then is because you made it relevant by saying Boris Johnson, and it just popped into my mind.
Because you thought of Boris.
Yeah.
That makes it okay. I gotta think of my 10 now. Okay, it's either gonna be something like it's probably gonna be either E.T. or fuck. E.T. Phone Home.
Spider-Man Phone Home.
Oh. This is tough. It's just me deciding for like 5 minutes.
You know what? Fuck it. Should I just say my list first?
Okay, what are we gonna do? Like 10-1, fine.
Yeah.
10-1, fine, and then okay, we'll justify it. At least it gives each other time as to go, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay.
So whilst Patrick's trying to figure out what the fuck his 10th one is, 9th one. All right. 9th favorite film.
Hell.
I'd probably go with Shrek the Third.
Okay.
Again, another third installment.
Memes aside.
Memes aside, now people are like, why is it even on your top 10? It was the first story that introduced to me, obviously a young age of a filmmaker who's only watching like sort of the standard animated stuff. It introduced to me like, character evolution through one very stupid, simple plot trait of a secondary antagonist becoming a main antagonist. And that was of the Prince Charming character. And for him avenging his mum, for some reason I got infatuated by the idea of villains coming back for revenge or avenging other villains. And that story kind of introduced that aspect to me, and I got really intrigued by it. And also just because it's Shrek, but the other three beat it as well on this list as well. So I'll get to those in a bit. You figured out 9 and 10 yet, Patrick?
Okay.
Do it before I have to say. To be honest, actually,
well,
I'll get this out
you
of the
doing
way.
your 10-1?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll get this out. Oh, this horrible one out of the way.
God, you an 8 for me.
Well, it's. I suppose it can't be as bad as 9 and 10 in this circumstance. 8th would probably be.
See, this is the thing. You have this for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I've got.
Well, it is genuinely difficult to go from 10 to 1, because
We're the Millers.
we're the Millers.
Which is actually that's one of my favorite, like, comedies. Fucking, you got Jennifer Aniston from Friends. You've got fucking eyebrows from, Toy Story and Maze Runner. You've got fucking
Eyebrows from Toy Story.
He does look
What a
like
brilliant
Sid.
combination.
He does look like live action Sid.
Oh, God damn it.
Casting's great. They are not scared to go in depth with the scenes and some of the like content as well, which I think is like, it's good for some films to finally feel like they can breathe and do that. Like, even if they're only like 15 plus. Like, I think because that was a 15, so I remember seeing that when I was 14. But yeah, like,
Oh, you rebel.
yeah, such a fucking rebel, aren't I? I think I was like 13, 14 when I first watched that. Actually, like, I don't know how I got away with it, but yeah.
That's explained to 8. Is that what you're on?
I think
the 7th?
have I answered why they're my like 8?
You
8th,
sort
9th, and 10th.
semi.
I kind of said it.
You've explained
kind of.
why. Yeah.
If you feel like we've left anything out as to why logically, then feel free to leave it in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
7th for me would be probably shit. Grown Ups 2.
That's cool.
Similar reasons to We're the Millers, but better because I've seen that one and the first one, and I love both of them. Actually, no, I'll change that. Grown Ups. And then 6 is Grown Ups 2. Because Grown Ups 2 is so much better than
You're
Grown
using
Ups.
up your slots for favourites.
Yeah, I'm using up my slots for favourites. Basically, similar reasons to We're the Millers, but I just love I love both of those films because you've got all these comedy actors. You've got Adam Sandler, you've got Kevin Hart. Not Kevin Hart. What's his name? Fucking hell, I forgot his name now. Chris Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin James.
Don Cheadle, you on about?
No.
Why am I Not
David Spade.
Maybe not Don Cheadle.
And
What am I
Rob
on
Schneider.
about?
Rob Schneider. In Grown Ups.
Mm.
Because they've all done their own, like, it's like that film is like watching comedy, Avengers comedy assemble. Because you've got like 5 like mainstream comedy actors. Like, you've got David Spade from Rules of Engagement. You've got Adam Sandler from pretty much any other movie. You've got Kevin James from Kings and Queens and a few other sitcoms, and that you've got Rob Schneider from pretty much almost everything else as well. And then you bring in like Salma Hayek and a lot of these like female stars who've been in like comedy films like Bridesmaids and God knows what else, and you just like make the massive encore assembly of cast for this massive 2 installment comedy series. And the second one outdoes the first one for jokes, which is why it's 6 for me.
Fair enough.
As for number 5, because I've used Space 9 for Shrek the Third, I'd probably say Shrek 2. Because it's just the best one in the series, isn't it? Actually, no, not Shrek 2. Shrek Forever After, because that was better than the third one. And like CGI was improved by that point. Yeah.
Well, there was a pretty big evolution in Shrek from Shrek to Shrek Forever After.
Shrek Forever After.
Is that
Space
your
number. Yeah, that's my 5th.
Yeah.
Space after that would go to Fast and Furious 6.
Okay.
Was my first Fast and Furious film in the franchise that I'd seen. The dynamic and evolution of the characters from that point in the series after I rewatched the whole franchise again was on point. They traveled internationally. They had a lot of action in it, and it was starting to bring the story full circle, which then obviously got concluded in what I'd say space number 4 is, which is space number 3, which is Fast and Furious 7 after that.
Yeah.
Because that continued doing that. So like if there was a way I could put both of those in the same slot, same with Grown Ups, like I would, but obviously it's only like the top 10s.
Yeah.
And then that comes to the top 2.
Wait, have you done was 3? Oh,
3
4 and
was
3
Fast
and Furious.
3 and 4 were Fast and Furious. 7 and
6.
6. So 3 was 7.
Ooh,
4
your
was
top
6.
2.
So top 2. And this is probably going to be pretty obvious to anyone who knows me. Top 2 goes to Avengers Infinity War.
Okay.
And that means...
no surprise there.
no surprise there. And the Marvel film's obviously going to be on there. They brought together all the characters. They got to finally meet after 10 years of evolution from 2008's Iron Man 1. Animate, like, the CGI amongst the live action flowed probably better than it has in any of its predecessors, and lived up to the 4-year hype that had been first announced in 2014. it is just a masterpiece of a movie, and with probably one of the biggest plot twisting ends that you'd never expect from a PG superhero film, where, spoilers, even though it's been out for 3 years, the antagonist wins and the heroes are dead.
Deaded.
Deaded.
Oh yeah.
As Toad said and flushed away, deady weddy. So yeah, if I'd put flushed away on the list, that would have been 0, like as in like, you know, before the 1. If you're going 0 -1 -1, like if that's how you want to do it, but probably not. Yeah, so that's 2. As for 1,
what is your favorite film?
my favorite film.
I can hear the cogs turning right now to get that favorite one.
Fucking hell, I'm not a Winter Soldier. I was going to say Endgame, but I've decided against that now, because whilst it is like one of my favorite films, it doesn't have much justification for explanation. So I'm going to put that one aside, because it kind of has the same merit as Infinity War. So if that's the case, I might actually take out some of those films. I'll take out those films and trade them with others. Just trying to think off the top of my head, because it's better with this sort of stuff. It's better to get a natural reaction. So logically, I'd say my favorite film would actually have to be, drum roll.
I'll add a drum roll maybe.
Harry Potter,
of course,
and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Because well, that's my current most favorite film, and it has multiple merits of reason. Again, like Infinity War, 10 years of story resolved. Also, the structure of the film, whilst they did this better in part 2 than they did in part 1. And I saw another podcaster talk about this as well, called Movie Flame, who originally we were going to be called as a YouTube channel or something similar to that, before I found out it'd been taken by that group, by that guy. And I watched a lot of his videos actually, because he talked about Harry Potter as well, and I was like, oh my god, this guy's actually insane. I wish I was him. And I agree with his fact that part 2, even though it opens like about a quarter of the way towards the end of the book, I think either halfway or a quarter of the way towards the end of the 7th and final book, the way they structure the opening and the scene, they flash back to the end of the previous movie, and they start there, they open it up, and they kind of keep this sort of like tension music, and then they just go straight to a soft character, just to like bring a little bit of light in the situation at the correct time, and just to start all the dialogue going, and then it just gets really like more and more and more intense from that point until like pretty much the very end. And they just, oh, my cat's going. They literally, they pay tribute to a lot of characters. They pay tribute to the books. They pay tributes to all characters' manners of deaths, possible, as sad as it is, because it's a war film pretty much, you know, that you're going to have death in it as a conclusion to, you know, a 7-year story for Harry, but a 10-year story for us watching the films. Like, you're going to get to see a lot of moments that you've been waiting a long time for. And even at the time of reading the original books and when they first came out, as well as seeing some of the films, no one knew it was going to end like that. No one knew it was going to happen. And you've got like some of the best actors in the world, in my opinion, in those films. Like, these people are actual legends. These people created and defined the term legend. That was brought onto like so many other people and so many other actors, in my perspective anyway. You know, take that as an opinion. Like, you know, to me, that's what created like actors that led on to doing other things. Like, obviously, you know, obviously Chadwick Boseman's been famous a lot longer than Daniel Radcliffe and whatnot, but like, I feel like, to me, him being a legend, he is a legend.
We're all legends.
But to me, I wouldn't have seen it as such without like watching films like not necessarily his films, but watching films about how other actors prove themselves to be legends. I wouldn't have really been able to see how he could be as well, unless I sort of looked at his like acting methods and whatnot and got to see like what he was doing. Same with like Benedict Cumberbatch, not just as Doctor Strange, but also like as Sherlock Holmes as well, and seeing how he lives up to Robert Downey Jr. as Sherlock Holmes. And I'm just going on to talk about Marvel actors now, rambling. But yeah, like story execution, and it's like the shortest Harry Potter as well. So literally, they managed to cram everything in. Not as crammed, but they had the last part of the story to tell, and they had like a whole flesh 2 hours to tell it, to however they wished. And David Yates, who'd been directing it since the 5th installment, literally got it right. Completely. So I'm grateful that we got what we got from that film. It's probably my favorite in the franchise. It's probably the first one that I think of. It's the first one that I go to, despite it technically being the 8th installment. But it's kind of not. It's like the second part of the 7th installment. So to me, it's like no different.
There you go.
So I'd want to make a supercut of both those films. Someone's gone and done it, haven't they? At some point, somewhere.
Probably.
Someone's made a supercut of both of them because it's basically the same film split into 2 parts. I'd love for that to be re-released in cinema, just both those parts, but like any unnecessary scenes are just from either of those 2 installments are just cut out, and then they made, you know, the first like hour and 15 is Deathly Hallows Part 1, and the second is like Part 2. But all the stuff that's needed to be there is included or whatever. Or, you know, if it's 3 hours at most, it has to be.
That'd be fucking crazy. Comes in Harry Potter in years fully, actually. When was the last time? Probably when I watched it recently, I think, because
I've been like badgering on about it since like Christmas.
So I think I'd watched like, I don't know, Philosopher's Stone or something. I can't remember which one was it.
Surprisingly, they were on over Easter, and I was like, to me, that's Harry Potter is like a film franchise you watch at Christmas, because there's always Christmas at Hogwarts.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're transitioning to a Harry Potter video now. Like we will do a Harry Potter video if you guys want one.
Yeah, he'll be talking for like 3 hours.
I'll be talking for 3 hours, and Patrick will just be like,
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah,
yeah. So we'll talk about that in Fantastic Beasts, because it kind of it's all the same franchise, isn't it? Really. So like, well, canon or not, you know, however you want to take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my top 10.
I have mine now, finally. I had to write them down. Okay, so I said E.T. or something else. I can't think of anything that beats number 10 for E.T. So, yeah, E.T. is my 10th, because it's one of the first Spielberg films I ever watched, and it's just insane what he done in that film. Just everything about it is perfect and brilliant. Like, in John Williams' score is amazing, and yeah, it just captivated me like at an early age watching it, and just like this, what they done with everything to do, like the filmmaking of E.T. is just perfect in my opinion, and like through my eyes of like the first moment you see E.T. and the kids first see E.T., it's crazy. And then the moon shot is probably one of the best shots ever. In my opinion,
that's like a classic for just the film industry in general, isn't it?
That's
like what logos for film companies would be inspired of.
Yeah, literally, it's just the perfect shot ever. What other reasons other than the fucking soundtrack? John Williams is literally, Hans Zimmer and John Williams are my 2 favorite film composers, because they're just nuts, and they've both composed films for wait, how much? Probably like. Hans Zimmer's done more of my favorite, composed for more of my favorite films, but still, John Williams is just, Star Wars, Schindler, he did do Schindler's List. Fuck, that was a soundtrack and a half. But yeah, E.T. number 10. I have them literally right here because I couldn't think. Ocean's 11 is my number 9. I'm pretty sure because that is just the funny. Well, it's not even a comedy, but it is just funny. Heist film in a casino. It is just Steven Soderbergh. Soderbergh. I think it's Soderbergh at his finest. I love it. It's just funny in moments, and it's just really good editing, good filmmaking. See, here's the thing. You go on to explain about a film. Well, actually, I think we've both talked about films in terms of the filmmaking, haven't we?
Pretty much, yeah.
When we're explaining why we like them so much. But yeah, I love that film because, I mean, it's got basically some of my favourite actors in a film together. Because you've got Matt Damon, Brad Pitt, and George Clooney. And, well, they're like, Matt Damon and Brad Pitt are probably two. Brad Pitt's one of my favourite actors. But it's a bit like The Departed because there's so many famous people in The Departed. And that's just a funny and crazy film by Martin Scorsese. But no, I loved Ocean's 11 just because of how it played out. It's just the perfect heist film, really. If you want to watch a film about a bunch of guys robbing a casino or set of casinos over the entire trilogy, that is the film. Number 8 is Sicario because the first time I watched that, it blew me away in terms of everything to do with cartels and the fucking Mexican drugs and the gangs and everything to do with that. I mean, the first time I watched it, I knew basically nothing about the story, and then I've watched a ton of that type of stuff since. But that's crazy. It's just because it's one of my favorite cinematographer. And then I heard of Denis Villeneuve, and then he obviously made Blade Runner as well, 2049. Which Ridley Scott as well produced, I think. Yeah. That's a fucking insane film as well. Actually, wait, would that make my top 10? Fuck. Shit. I might have to fuck. But regardless, Sicario is number 8. But because of that, it's just brilliant. It's just the action. It's perfect amount of action. And the tension. The opening, 30 minutes. That is how you do tension. That is how you lead up to just the 4 to 5 minutes of the highway scene is probably some of the best editing in a film ever. There's literally a video on someone made a video and it's literally just the best editing in a film ever, and it's just that scene, and it's so true. My 7th is Saving Private Ryan, just because Saving Private Ryan is Saving Private Ryan. Who doesn't like Saving Private Ryan? I knew that
was going to be on your list somewhere.
You knew it.
I bet Dunkirk and Tenet are on there. They're probably the top 2.
You'd be surprised.
And 1917 as well. Make that 3.
Is it?
Pardon me.
Well, you'll find out. I love Saving Private Ryan because anyone who loves any war film should love Saving Private Ryan because, again, Spielberg is on my list twice, I think. Yeah. Because he is
also just in spite of me, Patrick probably likes it because Vin Diesel dies. Spoilers.
I didn't think of that, but yeah, sure, in spite. Fuck you. I just love it because it is the first time I watched it. Well, I've watched I don't know how many times I've watched it. It's just brilliant. I don't know what to say about it. It's just give Spielberg that budget, give him a war film, give him that story, and he makes that, and it's just perfect. Every time I watch the end, you can't not cry at the end. It is just perfect ending.
I didn't cry, but I was a bit shocked.
It was just it tears me up every time I watch the ending. It's just probably not as bad as Schindler's List, but almost as bad. Schindler's List, the ending of that is, that's emotional. That's a fucking train wreck of emotion at the end. But yeah, it's just a brilliant war film all round. It's not difficult to watch. Well, I mean, it has its graphic moments for sure. The beach scene at the start obviously is just, you can't get any more real than that. It is just, it shows it how it was, and it shows how it literally what.
I don't know. Literally just. I yawned and then I saw myself. So
Oh, brilliant. The average night for Ollie.
yeah.
But going on, yeah, literally, it's just that beach scene is intense, and I remember watching that. I weirdly in school. I don't know how they were allowed to show that. They must have. I don't know how they show that because they literally have like, I don't know, I can't remember what the age rating is for Saving Private Ryan, but it is graphic at the start. But that is what should still be shown in history classes if it's allowed to be, because that is just World War II in a film.
Yeah.
Number
History and biology.
yeah, you learn about biology in that film, that's for sure. Number 6.
I don't think I'll have the stomach for that.
Oh, literally some of the scenes.
Oh yeah, Cherry. I bet that's going to be on there as well.
I'm surprised it wasn't on yours, actually.
Yeah, I might go back over.
You're going to go over yours.
I'm going to go back over mine because I've got a few that I might want to change, because Patrick didn't tell me this was going to be the theme this week, so I kind of had to just quickly think as quick as I could. Some of it on the spot, you could probably tell. So yeah,
it's semi on the spot for me. I mean, my top 4 are like, I know them, but yeah, 6 is 7. That doesn't sound right, I know. 6 is David Fincher's 7, because
6 doesn't exist anymore in the number alphabet. It's just 7 now. Like, I wish it was just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. That would literally make
that
my
would
day
be
if
your
someone
perfect
decided
alphabet.
that.
But alphabet. Did you hear that? I'm dying.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
That would be the perfect alphabet. I need like locking up. Brilliant. That is. It's fantastic. Right. Yes. David Fincher's 7 is on my number 6, because it is like the fact. Oh, you have a villain that you don't see until the last like 4 scenes, maybe a bit more, and his reveal. Detective. Have you seen it, Ollie?
What?
7. Have you, what? What?
I can't even remember now. It's like literally just how you were like 7 and 4.
It's hard to explain why I love a film, because it's just amazing. That is just filmmaking in it. Like a lot of the films I've gone through are just literally, it's like, in my eyes, perfect filmmaking. I do love the fact in there was a study on this. I might leave it in the like description of this video as to why, like, well, we'll give away one of my films, so maybe not. But
yeah, I probably wouldn't.
7 does a great thing of not showing. I'm pretty sure the entire film, they never disclose the city, they never disclose location, but you obviously just have this like gritty, rundown, almost dystopian city, but it's like very like late 90s, obviously, because it was late 90s, and it's just this perfect like ensemble. I'm going to use your word for this. It's a perfect ensemble of like different characters, of like, you have, I mean, the dynamic between Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt is insane, and the directing and cinematography of like some of their scenes where they're detecting, and when they're back in their like office is insane. And then again, meet every single scene where they're showing one of the 7 deadly sins is just phenomenal. It's insane. I don't know, forget who done the soundtrack for that. The opening titles as well, crazy. Every part of 7 is crazy, but it doesn't beat, in my opinion, Fight Club, which is another Fincher film. Glad to hear I'm entertaining you, Ollie.
Oh yeah. No, Fight Club. Not so bad.
Fight Club is my number 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, Fight Club
First
is my
rule
number
of Fight
5.
Club: don't talk about Fight Club.
Exactly. It is insane. And it's perfect. I'm not actually going to spoil it, because yeah, the first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. Watch it. It's insane. I think it's on Prime. If not, it's on Netflix. It's on one of the two.
I think I saw it on Prime the other day, but I could be wrong. Just check it out. There'll be a link in the description below for Prime anyway.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, you'd have to go on there and pay for it if you have to, but or it just link you straight.
There's a free trial below anyway, so
yeah.
There you go. If you don't already have Prime, but yeah, the reason I love Fight Club is just because the first time you watch it is one of you can never watch it the same ever again. The first time you watch it, and it's very layered, like Nolan films again. From the second time you watch it, you learn more and more and more about the film in terms of just like the character and like what was going on, different circumstances and different scenes throughout each act. And I mean, the first time the spoiler is revealed to you, it fucks you up. So yeah, watch it. It is such a phenomenal film, and it's annoying because I Seven and Fight Club are on par for me in Fincher films, but like I just love Fight Club, and Seven is just that, like, it is that insane film. But I don't know, they're sort of like 5 and 6. The Dark Knight.
It has to be one of them. Yeah, I knew that was going to be on there. Yeah.
Dark Knight is my number 4 because it's the Dark Knight. If you know me well enough, you know I'm a Nolan cuck, and I had to use that word. Fanboy, there you go.
Oh my god!
It's just like it's that. Well, it's obviously part of the trilogy, but it's the best part of the trilogy because the Joker is insane. Heath Ledger is it's one of the best ever versions of the Joker. I love that film for so many reasons. Joker, I mean, it is annoyingly the first ever, at least to my knowledge at the time, my first ever time I watched, I saw Gary Oldman in a performance, which is bad because he's been in a lot of more amazing performances before. It's not Gary Oldman's best performance, but it's certainly up there. And
I think it was either that or
I mean, he's done a load in like the 90s as well.
I knew he did something before. I don't know what it was.
He's done decades worth of filmmaking.
The first thing I really notably knew him for, besides whatever the other thing was that I forgot, was probably Kung Fu Panda 2.
Cool. Was he in that?
He played the antagonist, Lord Shen.
Oh, god damn it!
Which, to be honest, should be on my top 10 list because that is that's a special shout out because that's one of my favorite films of all time.
But I just love The Dark Knight for every reason. The narrative is perfect. Just the unfolding of it's just the perfect story, and it continued from Batman Begins so well. Batman Begins would be my favorite film, but the Joker's not in it, so the evolution of the story in Dark Knight is amazing, and that's why it's my number 4. But a film called Joker came out, and that took 3rd place in my top 3 for me because Joker's just insane.
It's his man crush.
It's it is that film that's just holy fuck. Like you can't unsee Joker. It's just you can't unsee
Joaquin Phoenix.
What he done for that role is insane, and I mean, if you aren't one for it does go.
It doesn't need a sequel, as we said. It doesn't.
No, it just works perfectly by itself. It does work. If you aren't the best for like sort of mental health stuff, if you find that like a very
that's the only issue I had with that film. Like, because
if it's like a quiet topic for you, basically,
it's like when I watched that for the first time, it was a bit rough for me, because there was a lot of aspects to it that felt very
it deals with incredibly
personal to problems that I won't go into, but just personal to that. So I was like, I don't know if it's for me. And then I haven't watched it since, but I've been encouraged to, and it thinking about it now and remembering my memory of watching it for the first time, I feel like it's a film that I can now bear to watch because I've been through the pain of watching it for the first time. Well, pain of not really realizing that that's that. Obviously, it's gonna relate somehow to Joker's backstory because he is an insane character. He becomes insane to be able to mentally cope with life, basically, and in his own way. And that's like, it's not justifiable by publicly or legally or whatnot, but
and
it's his personal preference, which is obviously character growth.
Yeah, I mean, it's personally why I love the film, because it doesn't hold back, and
making the choice to go insane rather than take your life.
Like, something I do want to copy that I didn't really think about. This it's just sort of it's part of the film. It's part of you just think of it without thinking about it. It's just in the back of your mind. You don't really notice it, but it is how you feel about it, and it is what happens, at least for most people. There's a film, there's a case study, like a YouTube video that I think someone interviewed Quentin Tarantino on, and it's all about subversion and about the fact that Todd Phillips, director of Joker, basically subverted the audience on a huge level at the end, because the majority of the audience for Joker at the end of the interview with when he's literally at the interview, you want him to kill him. You want Arthur.
You knew it was going to happen literally before.
You know it's going to happen.
Once the tension got risen, you knew it was going to happen. Spoilers, but it's been out for nearly 2 years now.
You knew most audience members were on Joker's side for that. The whole point, the whole
Mm.
evolution of the story of Joker was getting you on the side of the guy that is insane. Killed the three guys on the subway in Wall Street. And from that point on, you're like, whoa, this is dark. And the first moment you see him, he's like, fuck me, this is a bit of a crazy guy. But then at the end, you want him to kill Murray, and if you don't, then it's amazing. It makes you insane watching the film. You come out of it just
I felt a bit strange after coming out of that. I watched it and I was like, I don't know how I feel now personally, because I was going through a rough patch. But thinking about it now, I'm encouraged to watch it again. So hopefully I'll have a different outlook this time, because usually that happens every time I go back to watch a film.
Yeah, and but yeah, Joker is my great number 3. Number 2 used to be my favorite film. But it was I had to watch my first and second a lot more to realize why it's my second. That's Interstellar, because Interstellar is just...
That doesn't hugely surprise me, but at the same time it does. Because I thought there'd be another placeholder for that, but yeah.
It's one of Nolan's best films, in my opinion. I've always loved the whole idea of time. Nolan messes with time in every single film he does in some way, and I think, in my opinion, this is the best. This is the best sort of time, way he's messed with time in a film, because he literally messes with the whole the not theory, it's technically a theory, it's scientific stuff, time dilation, of the fact that they go through a wormhole to another galaxy, and then they go to a black hole, a planet near a black hole, and when they go on that planet, every hour on that planet is 7 years on Earth, and just the whole concepts are the realities within the story are insane, and I just love the tension. I love every moment of that film, the tension, the low moments, the comprehension of what Cooper, Matthew McConaughey's character, goes through when he has to. He leaves his daughter, but then you realize, I'm going to spoil it. You realize he is the one that sent him to go and save the world and the human race. Because it's almost dystopian. But basically, it's set in the future when crops are dying and everyone's being told to become farmers, but NASA wants to go and explore. The reason, this is kind of a petty in a way reason, it's no longer my number 2, but it's only because 2001: A Space Odyssey it's heavily like Interstellar is basically a modern day remake of 2001: A Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick, and it's not the main reason that Interstellar is no longer my favorite, because I mean I'll get onto my favorite in a minute, but it's just the fact that because it is half the reason, because Nolan is such a big fan of Kubrick and he like basically took inspiration from it. And although I think Interstellar is actually a Spielberg film that I think Nolan and his brother like basically bought the rights to and then wrote and directed, or like took over. Like it's just, that's half the reason it's my like second favorite film. And going into my favorite film, the other half is because Inception is my favorite film. And that film, I don't think will ever escape my favorite, my number one, because the whole time dilation thing in like the way he messed with time in Interstellar is nothing compared to Inception. Like it's one of my favorite uses, Interstellar, but the way that everything to do with the dream states and the editing and the narrative, just the structure of Inception blows me away every time I watch it. It's got some of the best like filmmaking techniques.
Dr. Tenet or Tenet Strange, basically.
For fuck's sake, pretty much.
Tenet in it, Doctor Strange.
Tenet in it. We said that in the first one, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll do a callback somewhere sometime.
But yeah, I love Tenet for its, because my top two films, top three films. If you get rid of Joker, technically my top three films are Nolan films, which is probably no surprise to people that know me. But
I knew he was going to say one. I knew he was going to say at least one. I'm surprised you said anything that wasn't. To be honest,
Nolan isn't my all-time favorite director. Like he's just one of my favorites, but he makes my top two anyway.
Well, I think he's your favorite, isn't he?
He is my favorite director. Yeah, he's literally made my favorite films. But yeah, he's not my only favorite, at least, because I have other preferences of director.
My favorite directors, and I have a bunch of them.
Yeah, you have a bunch because you've got like franchise directors.
Justin Lin for Fast and Furious.
Mm-hmm.
James Wan for Fast and Furious 7.
Yeah.
The Russo brothers for the Captain America film and Avengers later sequels. Taika Waititi for what he's done with Thor Ragnarok and what he's doing with Thor.
He's one of my favorites. Yeah.
And David Yates for Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
And Taika Waititi for... did I just say Taika Waititi?
You said that's the second time, yeah.
Is that the second time? Yeah. Taika Waititi for Thor Ragnarok and what he's doing with Thor Love and Thunder. And James Gunn for Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 and what he's doing with the holiday special and Guardians of the Galaxy 3 that are coming out. So those are my favourite directors. Like my most favorite anyway. I do have a few others as well.
Yeah,
but yeah, like off the top of my head, they're the ones. Oh, and Nick Park for his stuff with the stop motion for Aardman, so Wallace and Gromit.
Not bad. One of my favorite, actually. Yeah, Nolan. Nolan. I've got a bunch. Nolan, in order. I can't think of an order. Probably Nolan, David Fincher, Spielberg, Scorsese, Denis Villeneuve, Taika Waititi, maybe. Well, yeah, he is on that list, but don't know where he'd come.
Yeah, but he's probably not on that list for Thor Ragnarok, is he? Or is he?
He's on that list for Jojo Rabbit.
That's
mainly.
not so bad. Yeah, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, it's a funny dark film. It's brilliant. He's a great director. Yeah. And his shorts he's made as well. He's made some really good short films. Before he became like the Hollywood guy that makes the independent films and gets to make some Marvel films. But
my name's cool, but don't let that intimidate you.
Yeah. I do love him. That's
Tried to
brilliant.
sell some pamphlets,
I'm made of rocks. There we go.
as you can see. Another one, go on.
Another one. There we go.
Yeah.
What else have we got?
See you later, new Doug.
Well, we're gonna talk quickly for like another few minutes.
Yeah,
like
I was
the
going to
top
say, because
3
I've
TV
changed my
series.
mind about
Oh,
my...
you're gonna. Yeah, about some
mine.
of yours.
So I'll still keep Man in Black 3 as my 10.
Mhm.
I'm going to change Shrek the Third, even though it does have the Avenge part of it, which I do like, but I don't think the whole film in general can be justified by that, and it is pretty abysmal for the Shrek movies. I'm going to change that to Shrek Forever After. I'm going to change where I put Shrek Forever After, which was my 5th one, as Shrek 2, because Shrek 2 is just like probably the definition of almost a perfect sequel. It's literally wherever I go, when someone thinks of the best sequel they've ever seen, Shrek 2. Literally, it doesn't have too much that it's overpowered. It takes the story in the right direction based off where the first one left off. It evolves some of the characters further. Donkey gets babies. We meet Fiona's parents. We meet Prince. We meet some more fairy tale characters, and we even get to meet some original characters, some original takes on characters. We learn some more of Fiona's backstory. We learn more of Shrek's problems and insecurities. We get to see what he would have looked like as a human. We get to see what Donkey would have looked like as a horse. And
that film takes you on
we
trips,
get
that does.
probably the first of what is the most amazing cover of any song ever, Holding Out for a Hero by fucking Jennifer Saunders, who played the fairy godmother in that movie. So that's that's one of the first changes. The second change is that to that list. So I had Men in Black 3 as 10, Shrek Forever After is 9, We're the Millers I'll keep at 8, and 7 I'm gonna take away the first Grown Ups and just keep up and change Grown Ups 2 from 6 to 7. I'm gonna move them all up a little bit. So now it's so Men in Black 3 is 10, Shrek Forever After is 9, We're the Millers is 8, Grown Ups 2 is 7. What did I say was next? Shrek 2 is 6.
You're trying to remember your
Trying to
own list.
remember all of them.
If I have it,
put them.
I'll be kicking
Shrek 2 is
ourselves if I have
6.
it on
What did I say? So, yeah, my top favourite is still Deathly Hallows. The second one is Infinity War. My third. What was that? I forgot.
You're being summoned.
Fast and Furious.
That was
7.
it. Fast and Furious, and 7 and 6, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I'll keep Fast and Furious 7 and 6 as 3 and 4 in that order. And
Nothing's changed, has it? Other than just
I need
sequel?
I need a 5.
What is your current 5?
There isn't one because I've changed stuff about. So
I'd
probably say
wasn't Grown Ups one of the 5.
No, I've kept Grown Ups 2, but I've taken out the original because the original is great, but I think the sequel just trumps it a little bit in terms of they condense it in terms of it's 4 actors instead of Rob Schneider, who isn't my most favorite comedian actor, and they bring in a lot more funny jokes. It looks like there's a raft in there. Best moment ever in any film at all. Oh, because it makes a funny trailer shot. We'll keep it in the film anyway. Looks like there's a raft in there. Just fucking explodes.
There's a raft in there?
Grown Ups 2 is great for jokes. Great for adult jokes. So yeah, that's definitely going as a 7. And then of course you've got Shrek 2 as 6. Because again, funny jokes, but also just a perfect sequel.
Is something like Guardians not your 5th?
I was thinking Guardians 2 as well, because it evolves Peter Quill's character, which was set up a lot in the first story, because Peter Quill is pretty much the main protagonist of the Guardians of the Galaxy films. He gets to fight against his father, Ego. CGI is improved in ways that almost feels beyond a decade to its 3-year older predecessor. And we get huge setups to the future films of the MCU, whether that's Avengers Infinity War, Endgame, and Guardians 3. We get just complete character evolution. We get like a new Groot, new baby Groot. So a great film for promoting merchandise, time setting, and I love how they're able to keep the aesthetic of the music choices correct to the time period as well, and to the film, because they're able to incorporate like old 80s. It's 80s, isn't it? It is 80s, isn't it?
Mainly 80s.
Like 80s music.
Well, it's all because of the. It's all because
like obviously he was growing up. He was like 6 years old. He gets abducted by the Ravagers. He only knows music of that time period, and
just childhood music. Yeah.
He's got Walkman cassettes and whatnot. And he's going around with them, and that's all the music he knows. Pretty much anything up to the 80s is all he's going to know. Is all he's going to have. Yeah. I think he does get, because at the end of the film they go to Yondu and Kraglin go to Earth before Yondu died at the end of the film. It's been out for 4 years, guys. Come on, spoilers. They get a Zune, which I'm guessing is like, I've never heard of a Zune before, so I'm guessing that's like a copyright iPod, because it looks like one. And it has like over 300 songs on it, so I'm guessing they're a bit more current to the 2014 time period that the story's set. And the story's literally set like a couple months later, so it literally picks up almost straight after this, as though there's no unnecessary time jump, so we can instantly get into the realistic continuation of the story, picking up where the characters left off, dealing with their strengths, weaknesses, and whatnot. So like the first one, they became a team. Now they need to remain one. You know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where they take the story. And apart from that, the scenery and the colouring of the film is just top notch.
Guardians is one of my favourite. Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say that's, to change my mind, that's 5.
Well, there we go. Our lists are hopefully on screen now. Ollie's and mine. There we go. And
have we got any bonuses? I know Flushed Away is one of my bonuses.
My bonuses, I would probably say.
Special mentions are Flushed Away and Kung Fu Panda 2 as 2 of my bonuses.
My bonuses are probably going to be Tenet and
1917 for you, I expect.
No,
I'm surprised you didn't say Dunkirk, unless I was yawning during that time.
Dunkirk.
Yeah, you didn't say Dunkirk. I'm surprised you didn't.
It's hard to decide. It's gonna be Dunkirk and Heat. Dunkirk and Heat.
What the fuck? Really?
Yeah.
Is that the one I'm thinking of with
Robert De Niro, bank robbers? Yeah.
Okay.
What were you thinking?
There was a film called Heat that came out, and I think it had. Is it the one I'm thinking of?
I'm gonna look it up for you as well.
Yeah, I think you know which one I'm probably thinking of.
Who was in your
I think it was either Melissa McCarthy or and another actress, but it's either that or it's another pair of like female leads. Oh no, Scoob, Velma and Daphne got captured. Or is that a completely different film? I don't know.
Well, for a start, that's Scooby-Doo.
There's a character who says a quote. Melissa McCarthy's tied up with this other woman, and like they're both cops or something, and she wears like the same shirt every day back to front or something. I'm not sure what film that is, but I think that was called Heat as well. Oh, get louder. Brilliant. Perfect timing.
I can't think, but yeah, they are my 2, because the Heat scene is insane. Watch the post bank robbery scene. The sound in that, it's crazy, because they just like use all of the sound is like just the blank guns, no added sound. Well, probably some added sound, but What a great film to watch. But yeah, we've been going for like an hour now. Just
Oh,
about
and
our favourite
Need
films.
for Speed and
Oh yeah, what a film! Need for Speed. I can bring in you just muted yourself.
I literally just muted myself. Need for Speed and what's the other one I was going to say? Baby Driver.
Need for Speed is a great film. Yeah, definitely watch that.
Need for Speed and Baby Driver. I don't know how well you can hear me now.
It's great. It's the same. Yeah.
Is it so? Okay, it's not so. It's not
To
so
end anyway.
Yeah.
But there we go.
To end, 'cause I screwed up. If you got any comments or arguments about that, or if you feel like we weren't sure of ourselves, because I know I certainly wasn't straight away, feel free to leave us a comment, and we'll see you guys next week for whatever video that's going to be. But Patrick won't tell me the schedule, so we're always going to be unorthodox. So
Always
give me
like that.
So petition for Patrick to give me a schedule so we actually know what we're doing.
Change
and to shoot him in the face if he doesn't. So it'll be in the comments. It's fine.
Brilliant.
All you have to do is just write a tick. I'm kidding, guys. All right. Until then, I'm Patrick. This is Oliver, and we are
Brilliant.
Fortune Theory. See you later. Toodles.
See you guys.